Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here, either in real time or via the recording that we're going to share through the 48th Ward office. I am Alderwoman Lenny Manaa-Hoppenworth from the 48th Ward, and today we're going to talk about our CDOT capital program for alleys, and we're going to talk specifically about the Green Alley around Victoria, Edgewater, Ridge and Clark. And today I'm very glad to introduce you all to PBC, our Public Buildings Commission, and also CDOT engineers who can go through the process that we're going to all experience together in the near future. And I'm also glad to know that our contractors are also on this call to introduce themselves. Communication is the most important thing when we're going through a very big endeavor. And we have already seen a lot of changes in the 48th Ward, especially this summer with the big water main replacement projects. So I look forward to this conversation. And remember, if you have any other questions, please contact us at the 48th Ward directly. Thank you. And at this time, I'm going to pass it to Agnes.
Hi, everyone. Thanks again for joining us. My name is Agnes. I'm the Director of Planning and Infrastructure for the 48th Ward under the Alderwoman, and we are very excited to be coordinating this work with PBC and CDOT, and just making sure that everyone is on the same page and that we can get this beautiful alley completed before winter begins. We know that there's been a bunch of construction happening all around the area, including lead service line replacements and restoration work by DWM. So a lot of this work is all being coordinated together, and we just want to make sure that everyone is aware. All right, I'm going to pass it off to Robert, I believe.
Agnes, if I may, and thank you.
Please do, Ray.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Ray Gitteroff. I'm the Executive Director at the Public Building Commission, and Alderwoman Agnes and the community residents that are on this phone call, on behalf of our chairman, Mayor Brandon Johnson, Craig Turner, the acting commissioner at CDOT, and Zhang, the deputy commissioner of engineering, and Matt, Matt Crocker, our other partner from CDOT, wanted to thank you for this opportunity. And Alderwoman Agnes and everyone, we wanted you to know that our entire team is on this phone call. So before we start, Matt, I'm going to turn it over to you if you want to introduce yourself and some of your team members.
Sure. Hi, I'm Matt Crocker with CDOT. This project is a Green Alley program project. We've been working closely with our partners at PBC to implement the construction of this alley. I brought a few team members with me. It looks like I have Reed Draper here and Issa Muckamray and Len Aloise. Yeah, we're excited to move the project forward. And we're really excited to work with our friends at PBC to get it done. So.
Appreciate that, Matt. Thank you. And then for everyone's information, Randy Williams is our Deputy Director of Construction. He's on the call. Randy, if you can wave. Robert Ochi is one of our senior managers that's managing the presentation. If the presentation doesn't go well, we'll just blame Robert. In addition to that, Javier Descoto, if you can wave in the background there, he is our on-site commission representative, so you'll be seeing a lot of him. Patrice Doyle is our Director of Compliance. Hello, Patrice. And I think, did I miss anyone from PBC? Did I get everyone from PBC? I think I did. And then Soham Patel. Jesse Rodriguez is also with our compliance team. Thank you, Patrice. And Soham Patel is the principal and owner of Sumit Construction, the contractor for the project. So to start, Alderwoman and team, the number one thing that we want to do is be as transparent as possible with our work. We're going to be honest with exactly what we're doing, when we're doing it, where we're doing it, and where those impacts, where you might see some of those impacts. If you can go to slide number 2, Robert, where it refers to the agenda for the project.
Ray, can I tell Robert how to make the slides more visual?
Sure, I think he'd look forward to that.
Robert, go down to the bottom of your screen where it says Notes, Display Settings is to your right. Go all the way over to the little computer light before the minus button. Okay, go over to your left a little. Yes, click that. There you go. Thank you.
Patrice Doyle is not only our Director of Compliance, but she's also our IT specialist. So thank you, Patrice. So this is a brief agenda. We're going to leave plenty of time for questions, and Alderwoman and team, this doesn't need to be the only meeting that we have. We'll provide updates on a regular basis. Our commission representative, Javier Descoto, and the team will also be in the field. You'll get used to seeing him. He will also be presenting today. It's important that you hear from the people that are going to be boots on the ground regarding the work. So that's the brief introduction. We'll provide an overview regarding the project and the location. We'll review the sequence of work as it is anticipated. A lot of you will be interested in the anticipated schedule. We have a slide that talks to the project surroundings, and the purpose of that is for the residents in the community and you, Alderwoman, to know that we are aware of some of those surroundings. In some cases, depending on the project location, or maybe a school, a church, several businesses, so on and so forth. In this case, there's a garden center, obviously, that we've identified. We can talk through that. We'll talk about the contractor's proposed phasing and logistics. That'll be an important part of this conversation because we realize that if we lived in this community, we'd want to know, is my parking impacted? What do I do with my garbage? Has Department of Streets and Sanitation been contacted? How long is the alley going to be shut down? What parts of the alley are going to be shut down? We'll be able to talk through all of that in anticipation of some of the concerns and questions that some of you may have. In addition to how's the contractor getting to and from the site, where are they staging the material, and what we deem to be some of the critical coordination elements. And we'll talk through that along with some of the pre-existing conditions that we've identified that the community residents are aware of. And then Patrice Doyle will talk about the community hiring opportunities, and then our PBC alerts at the end, and then any questions that residents may have. Robert, next slide. So obviously, Alderwoman, thank you very much for hosting the meeting. Thank you to our partners at CDOT, and then our engineer of record, CNET, and our contractor, Sumit Construction Company. Just as a matter of record, this is not Sumit's first project with PBC, and it's not Sumit's first project with CDOT. I can say this with a great deal of confidence. Sumit is an above average contractor. They do exactly what they say they're going to do. They're very responsive, very cooperative, and a very polite contractor, especially as it relates to these alley projects across the entire city. Next slide, Robert, please. So at this point, I'm going to kind of pass it over to Javier Descoto, the commission representative, because he's the one that you're going to see on site, and he's the voice that you're going to hear from most, and he's the person that will be corresponding with you or meeting with you as needed in the field. So Javier, if you can just walk through, obviously, the location and the scope overview, please.
Yep. Nice seeing you, Agnes. We talked quite a bit. Yeah, this is the Victoria Alley, part 2. It's bound by Edgewater, Clark, and Ridge. It's a full depth alley pavement reconstruction. Work is not just limited to, but it's full depth alley pavement reconstruction, including proper handling and disposal of on-site material, Portland cement, concrete base, hot mix asphalt, surface course, new drainage structure, sewer cleaning and televising, concrete curb and gutter, concrete sidewalks, concrete driveways, concrete garage aprons, concrete alley aprons, and this pre-molded rubber humps, speed humps at the end, and hydraulic seating as well. Robert, next one. So this is the project location. These are the different viewpoints, I guess you could say, of the Victoria Alley. As you guys are well aware, Victoria is still torn up. We will be working from the apron south on the ridge side, and on the west part of Victoria, we'll be doing that apron and sidewalk. Next slide.
So I think Javier and Robert, staying on this slide, obviously the reason why the alley was designated for reconstruction is because of some of those poor existing conditions. And you can see some of that there on the top left side of this presentation where the alley is deteriorating. There is and has been inconsistent sewer and drainage structure elevation issues, which leads to ponding in a lot of cases, and then just repairing all the damage that's there. But we also wanted everyone to understand and to know that as we're doing this work, and the Alderwoman mentioned it in the beginning, and we'll mention it again, everything that we do is coordinated with all of our other city agencies and sister agencies. In this case, we are aware that the Department of Water is performing its lead line service replacement work, and that we know, and we also know that street restoration work needs to be completed on Victoria after that work is done. The coordination element has to do with allowing PBC and CDOT to get in to perform that work, and then allowing DWM to come back and finish their work. We'll talk about what that impact is. We'll talk about how that may affect residents. And Agnes, I did receive some of the questions from last night that we responded to in terms of what's happening on Victoria Street. Is it accessible? What condition is it in? May residents park there, and so on and so forth. So we can talk through all of that during this presentation as well. Javier, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step in, but Robert, if you can go to the next slide.
Here's the proposed scope of work. We're going to reline the existing 10-inch sewer infrastructure. We're going to install one catch basin, and we're going to remove an existing catch basin. We're going to be doing, like I stated earlier, full depth alley pavement reconstruction. We're going to provide sewer cleaning and televising, concrete curb and gutter near the aprons, concrete sidewalks near the aprons, concrete garage aprons, concrete alley aprons as well. Pre-molded rubber speed humps, as stated prior. Next one, Robert. So here's our anticipated sequence of work. Traffic control is on site. Saw cutting is completed from August. Excavation and subbase preparation for alley reconstruction. So we're gonna basically start demo starting Monday on this alley. We're gonna be pouring concrete alleys, pour garage aprons, sidewalk removal and placement, topsoil, hydraulic seeding, street signage. If taken down, we'll reinstall, project completion and demobilization, and lastly, site cleanup. Robert, next one. Yeah. You want me to cover this, Ray?
But yeah, I mean, just briefly, as a matter of record, the Public Building Commission, with our partners at CDOT, we did award the contract at our July 8th, 2025 board meeting. After we received compliant payment and performance bond and insurance information from Summit Construction, I signed and issued the NTP on July 24th earlier this year. And then the pre-construction activities that have been taking place from about in August through about September. And then obviously some of you have noticed that there has been construction flyers and notices issued on the two dates shown here, August 12th and August 6th. And Agnes, you'll let us know if there is a resident that didn't receive the flyer. We'll make sure that we meet with that resident specifically. Our field staff will make sure that we have those meetings on site. Robert, if you can go back to the schedule slide. Thank you. So that we can make sure that if we missed a resident, then we're going to apologize to the Alderwoman and you, Agnes, and we'll make sure that we meet with that resident and they are aware of our work and they have a flyer in their hand. And the flyer is just step one. It's the communication and putting a name to a face and meeting our staff. So that if there's a question, if there's an issue, if there's a concern, our job is to make sure that we address that on the field end. And if it needs to be escalated to our level, then Agnes and Alderwoman Matt, the four of us can address those bigger concerns. Mobilizing and establishing site control is a big part of our work relative to ensuring that the work complies with the contract documents and that the work is being performed safely with minimal disruptions. Javier mentioned in the previous slide related to the sequence of work that the work will be phased. And Javier will talk about the phasing. We've done this before in other communities, whereas we've had multiple legs to an alley to make sure that we're not taking an entire alley down and then constrained parking for every resident that backs into that alley. So working with Sumit, we developed a plan to phase the work. And Javier will talk about the phasing specifically. And on a different slide, Javier will talk about sort of those parking impacts or constraints related to each phase. But the way that it's listed here, the way that the work is planned, there is 2 phases to the work. Phase 1 is approximately 3 weeks. Phase 2 is approximately 2 weeks. And Javier will talk about, those parking, and for example, when work is being performed on phase 1, yes, that parking will be restricted. And then as that work is being performed, the residents that live along phase 2 will not be impacted, and that would flip. So Javier will talk about those specifics with the specific addresses that we've identified, so every single resident on this phone call and the ones that are going to listen to this recording later know exactly where their address falls and what that might look like for them. And then the landscaping piece has to do with the landscape ordinance in the second planting season, whereas this is within that window that allows the contractor to install the specified landscaping in October through November within the landscape ordinance. And then Javier mentioned the cleanup and demobilization, finishing the work, finishing the alley work, then finishing the landscaping activities as well. And Agnes, there was a very good question that a resident had sent to you relative to, hey, what if there is bad weather conditions? Working with Sumit, we've accommodated or accounted for some of those inclement weather conditions because we know we're heading into the fall. We know that it's going to rain. We know that it gets darker sooner. So we've anticipated some of that in these durations. And that's why the note indicates that some of the dates are subject to change depending on those weather conditions. But in either case, Agnes and all the women and team on this phone call, we track and report those inclement weather conditions. Obviously, if it's an all-day rain event, those, depending on the work activities would be canceled. And everybody, Agnes, you'd know at your office because Javier will be communicating with you as well. But under no circumstance are we going to leave a condition on site unsafe. So we know that there's a day or a weekend where work is not being performed. Sumit is excellent at making sure that the work site is safe. So we'll continue on that trend, and Javier is excellent at reporting those things as well. And it seems like you already have a relationship with him, Agnes. So I think that's a good thing. I'm just kidding. Javier will continue to communicate with you in that regard. So we can go to the next slide. Okay, Javier, if you can talk through the sort of the surroundings and the color key related to the phases in this slide.
Yeah, so as you can see, phase 1 is the yellow stretch. If you're not aware, this is a very large alley. It's 1,400 linear feet. It's 2.5 alleys basically. So we are in Summit. We're gonna hit this alley hard, and we're gonna do this yellow portion in 3 weeks. So basically, we are gonna start demolition first in phase 1, and we're gonna be giving it back to the residents to park in the garage within 3 weeks. Once that's completed, we're going to jump to phase 2, November 3rd, roughly right behind the garden center. We'll be doing the north-south stretch. We're figuring we could probably do that in 2 weeks, correct?
Yeah, and thank you, Javier. And the reason why we always make a point, whether it's a WPA street or an alley investment, to identify any major surroundings is just so that we're sure that for ourselves, that we're communicating with those local businesses or churches or schools or whatever the case may be. In this case, it's the garden center, because later in the presentation, you'll see the work that the team has done to make sure, well, what about the garden center? Is there parking? What about their garbage? How does that affect their business? How does that affect the residents that are adjacent to it? That's the whole point of making sure that we understand the area and that we understand any adjacencies related to our work, in addition to the residents that we are aware of, but the businesses specifically. So thank you, Javier. Next slide. Okay, Javier.
Yeah, so here's the snapshot of the site logistics plan that Sumit provided. Roughly, you can see, I feel like you guys can't see my pointer. I'm acting like I'm controlling this, but the red at the alley aprons, those are going to be no parking signs roughly. So the trucks can get in and out. Edgewater will be a majority of the truck traffic. And then when we get to phase 2, we'll start using more of the Victoria side, exiting through Victoria onto Clark. But this kind of gives you a snapshot of where the layout of what's going to be closed, no parking signs, so on and so forth.
We think it's important to be honest and transparent about the strategy to execute and deliver the project with minimal disruptions. We do understand that there will be some inconveniences, obviously, as you can see where the red dark lines indicate those lane closures for a couple of reasons. Number one, to allow our contractor to stage and park equipment, in addition to ensuring that there is proper safe turn radiuses from and to the alley locations. Later in the presentation, someone might be thinking, well, what is the routing plan that the contractor intends? I think that there's a question, is the presentation going to be made available to the public? I think the answer, Agnes, is yes. The Alderman's office will make sure that they post that. I know we're saying a lot, and I also realized, thank you, Agnes. We also realized that there are going to be questions after this meeting, and Agnes is not shy about sending me those questions, and we'll absolutely respond to those in writing as well. So anyway, thank you, Javier. Wanted to make sure that everybody knows what it is that we're going to do and when we're going to do it and what that means to all of you living in the community. Again, we looked at this from the perspective of what if we lived here, what would we want to know, and how is the contractor or the agency going to minimize impact to our lives? That's the lens that we looked at this through. We want to get in, we want to be efficient, and we want to get out of your way. That's the plan. There's a question here. When is the project starting for phase 1? It's anticipated to start on Monday, but we did want to have this meeting first to make sure that we can get through some of the major elements and then leave time for questions. So, Robert, let's go to the next slide. Okay, Javier, if you can talk through these routing and deliveries and staging for the project.
Yeah, no problem, Ray. So the arrows kind of just show you the flow of the traffic with deliveries coming in and out of the alley. Again, a majority of the traffic will be towards the south end of the alley on Edgewater. It has the best turning radius for the entire project. And again, you can see phase 1 is starting October 13th, like Ray stated. We are anticipating finishing November 1st and then starting phase 2 the 3rd. So we should be able to get everybody back in their garages, weather pending November 3rd.
Yeah, and we'll be, Javier, thank you, Agnes. We'll be in communication with the residents as well. I think the best form of communication oftentimes is on site in the field. The residents should not be shy about if they see Javier and see our team, ask questions. It is one of our jobs is to get to know the residents by name so that they know that they have an advocate for them as well in the field. Okay, next slide, Javier, or I'm sorry, Robert.
Okay, here are
I'm sorry, Javier. The next couple of slides are gonna be related to coordination elements, whether it's Department of Streets and Sanitation or parking or other matters. I'm sorry, Javier, go ahead.
Yeah, so here is the garbage pickup that we're going to be requesting the containers be moved to the front of the homes like they did last time in August. Speaking of which, Conrad mentioned, Agnes, if you could have it sent to Black Club again. It worked out better for him so he didn't have to move all the cans. Conrad is the ward superintendent, Ray. Okay,
Yeah,
so 1530, 1535 to 1423 West Victoria. We're going to need them to move their cans to the front of the house. As is 1530 to 1420 West Edgewater. Same thing. And then on the north-south ridge, 5776 to 5756 North Ridge, they need to move their cans as well to the front of the house. When phase 2 starts, the one only really affected is the garden center, and they're going to move theirs to the Victoria side, they mentioned.
Yeah, Javier and Agnes and team, we wanted to make sure that not only are we identifying the range and those addresses, but on what street and during what phase and what that impact is for that duration. As Javier stated, the intent is to start phase 1, finish phase 1, turn phase 1 back over to the residents, and then start phase 2. So that we're not taking the entire alley down and impacting the residents for an entire 5-week duration. So we split it up in this way so that all of the residents are fully aware of the impact and sort of inconvenience, if I can use that word. Obviously, our people are going to be on site in the field as well on a daily basis. Whenever there is construction work being performed, there will be a PBC representative on site. So the residents will have that assurance that we are there, their advocates as well. Okay, next slide, Robert.
Yeah, so the same goes for the garage access. Same addresses, 1535 to 1423 West Victoria. There will be no parking in the garage. It will be restricted for the 3 weeks that Ray just mentioned, as will be 1530 to 1420 West Edgewater. No parking as well. And 5775 to 5756 North Ridge will also be restricted during phase 1 construction. And then phase 2 will be 5755 to 5741 North Clark. But there's no garages there. So next one, Robert. Critical coordination elements. So during this period, there's a lot of deliveries being made in the alleys. They just need to be transferred to the front of the houses, residences. Utility coordination, that will be ongoing. Overhead cable protection will be as needed. General contractor staging areas and on-site material storage. As we stated in the previous slides, we'll be using those off of the Edgewater apron sides. Ongoing coordination with city agencies. Yes, this one has been really difficult, but we got through it. We'll be coordinating with everybody. And then lastly, new alley work has been fully coordinated with DWN for the Victoria side. Next one, Robert. Yeah, so these give you the views. Exhibit A, you're looking southeast, and it kind of gives you a snapshot of where we're going to be starting. Yes, we do have to get these refuse containers out of there. So Conrad said this weekend's a very critical weekend to get these out. So Monday is starting without a hiccup. Exhibit B is looking west towards the garden center. And then exhibit C and D, you're looking south behind the garden center. That will be phase 2. Next one, Robert.
Okay, Patrice Doyle, our Director of Compliance, will discuss our community hiring opportunities as well.
Good afternoon, everyone. So the map that you see on your left is for Alley's Package 5, where this project is located in. So 7.5 hours of the total hours performed by the contractors should reflect these communities, Victoria area being one of them on the map, which is number 7, the location on the map. We hosted 2 virtual community hiring events on September the 22nd and September the 24th, where community residents had the opportunity to meet with several prime and subcontractors through an interview process. If there's anyone interested or know someone that's interested that would like to submit an application, we still accept applications and share them in our database with our prime and subcontractors. We can provide additional information. It is on our PBC website. So as the project progress and the work is being performed, compliance will monitor and make sure that Summit is in compliant with ensuring that 7.5 hours do reflect the community of Ali's Package 5.
Right. Thank you, Patrice. Robert, if you can go to the next slide. Oh, thank you, Robert. So this is just our QR code for our alerts. We encourage everyone to scan the QR code. It takes 30 seconds to subscribe to our alerts, and this is just sort of and our first line of information that goes out. We've got about 9,800 subscribers right now. Anything that PBC does, you would get an alert and be made aware of, whether it's an opportunity or any meetings or anything that we're doing at the PBC on behalf of our partners. Next slide. So we'll open up for questions. Matt, to you and Craig and Ann, wanted to thank you for the opportunity to partner with you and your team at CDOT and all of the engineers and all the women and Agnes and community residents. We're excited to execute this important investment in your community. So Agnes, with that, I can turn it back over to you.
Thank you so much, Ray. Thank you. Everyone on this team, well, large team. We've got a lot of folks on this project. I know it's a complicated project, and we appreciate, again, your coordination and your collaboration efforts with our community. I know I can see actually there's a few more questions I think that came in during the presentation, so maybe we could jump over to those first in the chat and then open it up for folks who are on this call. Let me see, and I apologize I think I was just trying to get these questions down. So if you answered already, I think it doesn't hurt to repeat the answer as well, but will lead pipe mitigation start on Edgewater during this period as well?
So Javier, if you can answer that. I know that we've coordinated with the Department of Water regarding their work and our work.
Yeah, as far as Edgewater, Agnes, I'm not aware. That would be a DWM question.
Okay.
But
Yep.
they've
Makes
agreed
sense.
they've agreed to put Victoria on hold until we're out of this alley.
There's another question about signs that were posted of no parking up and down the alley starting tomorrow. And does this mean that neighbors are losing access to their garages starting tomorrow or not?
No, we have to do it 48 hours prior. So we posted them early because we're starting Monday.
Okay.
But no, they have to be out of their garages basically Monday morning. Sunday night, Monday morning.
Great. I've got, let's see, a few more questions. What happens if snow comes earlier than expected? Is there a contingency plan?
If we do get snowfall, we will track that issue. We'll record it as an impact if there is an impact. And so Soham, I'll let you answer some of that, but because we're not anticipating, other than it being treated as an inclement weather condition, we don't anticipate significant snowfall to impact our work. More importantly, we don't anticipate that snowfall from sticking because of where we are with weather and ground temperatures. And furthermore, we don't anticipate any ground frost conditions, at least until January. So that'll be something that we track and manage on a daily basis. Soham, did you want to add anything to that?
No, yeah, I would say you pretty much covered that. So if the temperature below freezing is the only time where we cannot pour concrete. Good thing about this alley is there is minimum underground work that will prohibit us from digging any frozen ground. So once the excavations are done, we'll start pouring concrete. If the temperature goes below freezing where we cannot practically pour concrete, would be the time where we'll take a break a day or two. Should not impact more than any of that.
Thank you, Soham. And Agnes, we will communicate that as well because we track that for ourselves because that's something that CDOT expects from us also. So we'll be sharing that information with you, Agnes, the Alderwoman, so you can share it with your residents. And Matt, that is something I know you expect to hear from us as well.
Thank you, Ray. As a follow-up question to the previous question, that construction starts on Monday, or that I think the question is, when do the garages, maybe Alexis could clarify, but what time on Monday morning? Are you asking about what time construction begins on Monday morning, or
what time do we need to be out of our garage?
what time do you need to be out of your garage? Okay,
That's correct.
thank you.
Soham, where are we going to start? Towards the phase 2?
Yeah, so the crews will be on site at 7. We'll start demolition most likely around 8 o'clock. So I would recommend for everyone to be out before 7. I know at any time we'll not be removing day one, the whole alley will not be removed, so there will be some access, but I would recommend having everyone out by 8 a.m. We will be starting from the southeast edge, so that would be Edgewater towards Glenwood. So the east end on Edgewater is where we're going to start removing the alley pavement, and we'll make our way north and then west from there towards Clark.
Great.
And then Javier, you'll be communicating that on a daily basis with residents as well.
Oh yeah, they're very vocal with me.
In a good way, I hope.
Well, it's part of the job.
And then I think, oh, sorry.
Yeah, Len, my counterpart at CDOT, he hears it as well. So,
any other questions, Agnes?
I think there's actually, I think I just want to pause quickly and note that the block club president is on this call, and we want to thank him, Anthony Pence, for helping us to get the word out to neighbors about this this quick turnaround of a meeting, and we're very glad to be able to have this meeting and really get all this information to the residents over there. So thanks,
Thank
Anthony.
you.
Appreciate it. I think, I've got a couple of questions about what exactly is a green alley, or just how does it help with draining? What does full depth resurfacing mean? Reconstruction. So maybe you could just address that.
Matt, do you want to take that?
Sure, yeah. I mean, there's several different kinds of green alleys, but ultimately the goal is we have to get the water out of the alley into the waste treatment plant, but without creating some sort of a surge where a whole bunch of water is going there at once. So we create ways to slow down the water, mitigate it. Every alley is unique. But ultimately what this is going to look like is we're going to be excavating probably like a foot or so. I'm sorry, plans off the top of my head. I'm not familiar with this one, but I know we're excavating about a foot. Full depth just means we're not just repaving it. We're not just going to take the surface off and repave it like we do on streets sometimes. This is going to be a full reconstruction of the alley. So everything in there is going to be basically rebuilt except for possibly structures or sewer lines that may remain in place. I don't have the designer here with me today, but I do know that basically that's the objective of the alley, and this one will meet that goal.
Thank you, Matt. I'd like to also just make sure that I give time to folks who are on the call who have any questions. Anybody? Everybody good?
Agnes, we
course.
realize that there may be
Yeah.
questions after this meeting, and
Sure.
you send those over. Of course, we will respond to them in writing so that you have them, so you can post them as well. We absolutely anticipate additional questions later today or next week or 2 weeks from now. Whatever they are, well, we'll be prepared to respond and communicate properly.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you so much.
So sorry, I have one question.
Please go ahead.
You all said that construction crews, and if we have any questions during the this whole project, is there a way that we can easily recognize them, or like how do we know who to talk to if we have any questions?
Do you want me to answer the first part, Agnes? Yeah, Alexa, so definitely Javier Descoto, raise your hand again. So Javier Descoto is our commission rep on site. When you see him, obviously, please don't walk onto an active construction site, but get his attention so that he can meet with you safely, probably in front of your house, not in the middle of the construction site. If you have any questions that he can respond to, Javier communicates with me at all times. We communicate with CDOT, and then if you have more specific questions that you want to email to Agnes, I think you're more than welcome to do that, Agnes, if that's okay with you, and so that we can respond to those in writing as well. But yeah, absolutely, you'll get to know Javier and the team and Soham and the team, and there may be a minor issue or to be honest with you, maybe something happened that is making you sort of feel uncomfortable. Feel free to talk to Javier about that. He is the PBC's commission rep. There's no question that's going to remain unanswered. I can tell you that. And we're going to be honest with you the entire time. Matt, you have your hand up.
Yeah, only because I was looking in the chat and I feel like maybe I could just add a little more to some of the interest in what green alleys are and what they do. But in this situation, basically to hold the water, there's going to be a pipe under the ground. It's going to have the capacity to hold a great deal of water that before it exits the system, and then there will be what we call a restrictor, where the water is sort of slowed down like an hourglass into the main system. So that way, it's not all rushing into the system at once and causing other problems. So the capacity's been studied. All this is designed around local rainfall in the area and storms. So just if there's anything else I can answer, please let me know. Thanks.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you. Also wanted to quickly note that you can always reach out to our office. We serve as a conduit for all of this work as well. So, if you can't see anyone on site or don't happen to find Javier, you can always reach out to us. I've got Javier's phone number.
Thanks.
Mhm.
Yeah, just to add to the communication part, like if Summit crews will always be out there, so just find anyone with Summit's vest on it, just ask them for me. So I'm the project manager for that project. So either Javier or me will take care of any questions or any problems that you encounter during construction, and then we'll make it easy for everyone.
Thank you, Soham.
All right. I think on that note, if no one else has questions, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. And we will all be in touch for sure.
Thank you for hosting.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.